The Flick effect, a new era at Barcelona. The arrival of Hansi Flick at Barcelona sent ripples of excitement through the football world. Here was a manager who had achieved the seemingly impossible with Bayern Munich. He brought an attacking, possession-based philosophy that had yielded tremendous success. Barcelona, a club steeped in a similar tradition, saw Flick as the perfect candidate to revitalize their fortunes. The Catalan giants had endured a turbulent period, marked by disappointing Champions League exits and domestic struggles. Flick's appointment heralded a new era, a fresh start. His arrival brought renewed hope to the Camp Nou. Fans eagerly awaited his first steps in rebuilding a squad that had lost its way. All eyes turned to the transfer market. It was clear that Flick would need reinforcements to implement his vision. The question on everyone's lips was, who would be the first names on his wish list? The rumor mill went into overdrive. Flick, known for his meticulous planning and tactical acumen, was not expected to make any rash decisions. The summer of 2024 promised to be an interesting one at Camp Nou. A new maestro's orchestra deconstructing Flick's transfer targets. Hansi Flick's transfer strategy was never going to be about marquee signings or extravagant spending. He was a pragmatist at heart, a manager who valued balance, structure, and a cohesive unit above all else. His targets were carefully chosen. They were players who could not only enhance the existing squad but also fit seamlessly into his tactical blueprint. The emphasis was on quality over quantity. Flick's Bayern Munich side was renowned for its fluidity, its ability to transition seamlessly from defense to attack. He favored a high-pressing game, suffocating opponents and winning the ball back high up the pitch. This required technically gifted players comfortable in possession and capable of making intelligent runs off the ball. The first whispers of his transfer targets sent shockwaves through the footballing world. It was clear that Flick had a clear vision for the future of Barcelona. His targets were a mix of established stars and promising youngsters. Flick was building a dynasty, a team capable of challenging for every trophy on offer. The curious case of Kilian Mbappe, a gamble or a game changer. The most audacious link was undoubtedly with Kilian Mbappe. The French superstar was coming to the end of his contract at Paris Saint-Germain. He was the hottest property in world football. His blistering pace, exceptional dribbling skills, and clinical finishing had made him one of the most feared forwards on the planet. Signing him would be a major coup for Barcelona. It would send a statement of intent to the rest of Europe. However, the pursuit of Mbappe was not without its risks. His reported wage demands were astronomical. His arrival could potentially disrupt the balance of the squad. Barcelona was already home to a certain Lionel Messi. The prospect of accommodating two such high-profile players was a tantalizing yet daunting one. Could Flick manage their egos? Could he create a system that got the best out of both superstars? On the pitch, Mbappe's arrival would undoubtedly add another dimension to Barcelona's attack. His ability to run in behind defenses would stretch opposition defenses. This would create space for the likes of Messi, Pedri, and Ansu Fati to exploit. The potential signing of Mbappe was a clear indication of Flick's ambition. The German wall enter Niklas Süle and the defensive renaissance. While the attacking prowess of Flick's Bayern was well documented, his teams were equally adept at the defensive side of the game. At the heart of his Bayern defense was Niklas Süle, a towering center-back with a rare blend of physicality and technical ability. Süle was out of contract at Bayern. He was attracting interest from several top clubs. Flick saw him as the ideal man to shore up Barcelona's often fragile defense. Barcelona had long struggled with defensive frailties. Their high line and emphasis on possession often left them vulnerable to swift counterattacks. Süle's arrival would bring much-needed steel and stability to the backline. His physical presence and aerial dominance would make him a formidable opponent for any striker. His ability to read the game and make crucial interceptions would also be invaluable. Süle was more than just a traditional center-back. He was comfortable playing out from the back. He could pick a pass and start attacks from deep. This made him a perfect fit for Flick's possession-based style of play. Section 5 Midfield Maestro, Leon Goretzka, the catalyst for Flick's vision. In midfield, Flick identified Leon Goretzka as a key target. Goretzka was another player who had flourished under Flick at Bayern. He was the complete midfielder. He possessed a unique combination of power, athleticism, technical skill, and an eye for goal. Goretzka's box-to-box style of play made him the engine room of Flick's Bayern side. He was equally comfortable breaking up opposition attacks and driving forward with the ball at his feet. Barcelona's midfield had lacked dynamism and penetration in recent seasons. Goretzka's arrival would inject some much-needed energy and creativity into the center of the park. His ability to cover ground, win tackles, and pick out a pass would add a new dimension to Barcelona's play. He would provide the perfect foil for the likes of Pedri and Frenkie de Jong. Goretzka's versatility was another major asset. He was comfortable playing as a holding midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder, or even further forward in a more attacking role. This tactical flexibility would give Flick a range of options. Section 6. A touch of elegance, Florian Neuhaus, the orchestrator in the making. While Goretzka provided the steel and energy in midfield, Flick also recognized the need for a creative spark, a player capable of unlocking defenses with a killer pass or a moment of individual brilliance. Enter Florian Neuhaus, the Borussia Mönchengladbach playmaker who had been catching the eye with his performances in the Bundesliga. Neuhaus was a gifted technician, blessed with exceptional vision and an exquisite range of passing. Neuhaus was a classic number 10, a player who thrived between the lines, finding pockets of space and dictating the tempo of the game. His ability to pick out a pass and create scoring opportunities would add a new dimension to Barcelona's attack. He could unlock the tightest of defenses with his vision and passing range. His arrival would ease the creative burden on the likes of Messi and Pedri. Neuhaus's ability to contribute both offensively and defensively made him the ideal fit for Flick's system. Section 7. The right flank revolution, Dani Olmo, a prodigal son returns. The final piece of the puzzle for Flick was on the right wing. While Barcelona had Ansu Fati and Ousmane Dembele as options on the left, the right side lacked a player capable of consistently delivering quality service into the box. Flick's solution, Dani Olmo, the RB Leipzig winger who had previously been on the books at Barcelona's famed La Masia academy. Olmo's journey was a curious one. He had left Barcelona at a young age in search of first-team football. He had blossomed into one of the most exciting wingers in Europe at RB Leipzig. His return to Camp Nou would be a homecoming of sorts. It would also be a shrewd piece of business. Olmo was a proven performer at the highest level. He was familiar with Barcelona's philosophy and style of play. Olmo's biggest strength was his versatility. He was comfortable playing on either wing. He could also operate as an attacking midfielder. Beyond the names, let's delve into Hansi Flick's transfer philosophy. Flick's strategy extended beyond just individual talent. He sought players who possessed a specific mentality, a hunger to win, and a willingness to buy into his system. He understood that building a winning team required more than just assembling a group of talented individuals. It required a collective spirit, a shared desire to succeed. This was evident in his selection of targets, all of whom had reputations for their professionalism and dedication. One of Flick's key strengths was his ability to create a positive and harmonious dressing room atmosphere. He fostered a culture of respect and camaraderie amongst his players. He believed that a united team was a successful team. This approach had yielded impressive results at Bayern. He was confident that he could replicate this success at Barcelona. Flick was also keen on developing young talent. He had a proven track record of giving young players a chance to shine. The elephant in the room throughout all of this was, of course, Lionel Messi. The Argentine maestro, arguably the greatest footballer of all time, had endured a turbulent time at Barcelona. Rumors of his departure had swirled for several seasons. The arrival of Flick, however, injected a renewed sense of optimism into the Messi situation. Flick had spoken publicly about his admiration for Messi. He had expressed his desire to build a team around the Argentine. He understood that Messi was in the twilight of his career. He believed that he could still play a pivotal role in his plans. The key would be to surround Messi with the right players. Players who could take some of the creative burden off his shoulders and allow him to flourish in the final third. The potential arrival of players like Mbappe, Goretzka, and Neuhaus would undoubtedly ease the pressure on Messi. Flick's appointment and his ambitious transfer plans were seen by many as a last-ditch attempt to convince Messi to stay at Camp Nou. The potential signings identified by Flick were not just about the immediate future. They were part of a long-term vision to restore Barcelona to the pinnacle of European football. Flick was building a team capable of dominating for years to come. He was laying the foundations for a new dynasty at Camp Nou. The average age of Flick's potential targets was significantly lower than the current Barcelona squad. This injection of youth and energy would revitalize the team. It would provide a solid core for the future. Flick was not afraid to give young players a chance. He recognized that the future of the club depended on developing the next generation of stars. The arrival of these players would also signal a shift in playing style for Barcelona. The summer of 2024 promised to be a pivotal one for Barcelona. The arrival of Hansi Flick had injected renewed hope and optimism into the club. His ambitious transfer plans, his focus on youth development, and his desire to implement a winning culture boded well for the future. The potential signings of players like Mbappe, Soul, Goretzka, Neuhaus, and Olmo would transform Barcelona into a formidable force. It would provide the team with the quality, depth, and balance needed to compete at the highest level. The impact on the existing squad, particularly on a certain Lionel Messi, would be fascinating to observe. One thing was certain: Barcelona was entering a new era, an era full of promise and excitement. The future looked bright for the Catalan giants.